that's what sort of balances it out. Is that like if you're throwing all your like really good pitches and you aren't hitting the zone, you have to go a little slower and it's easier to hit.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that would balance it out.
So yeah, so there's a little bit. But the problem is when you get someone who is really good.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, well, you have to handicap him somehow. So.
And is it the same sort of thing where, or is like, I guess, is it just casual? Do you have the full outfield? Or?
No, so yeah, that's the thing I like about it. You don't need anyone catching or an umpire. We were just playing with like 4 people. So it was like we were playing so that the pitcher had an individual score that runs against him.
Right.
And then it's just like if you got the ball before the mound, that was an out. The ball you got to the infield, it was a single. If the ball was in the outfield, it was a double. If you hit it into the outfield, that was a home run. So it's just based on where it landed.
Yeah. That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. And you don't have to get 18 people to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty fun. So you do a lot of gigs for Sports Canada?
Yeah, I do like probably 80% of my work with them. I've been working with them for 7 years. Yeah, I like doing live sports, so it's I don't really have much motivation to go live with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I work for the Vancouver Canadians.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, directing the broadcast for them. Yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm trying to get more. I've been doing that in the summer as well, but they only like are here half the time. So my job, I used to fill my schedule by drive the like, little water taxis in Fall Street.
Oh, nice.
Not completely unrelated.
It seems like it'd be a fun job. Like, is it pretty low stress?
Yeah, those stakes are pretty low. It's also nice, like if you do have someone who is like a passenger who is an issue on your boat or whatever. Like luckily they didn't spend $1,000 to be there, like you're on a yacht charter or whatever. So you can just be like, get out of here. I'll give you your money back or whatever. Yeah. But that doesn't usually happen. The one thing that's tough about it is just like I used to be there full time. It's just going in circles nonstop.
Oh,
You
yeah, I
go,
guess that'd be a bit much. Like a full day shift doing nothing but that.
yeah. Luckily, yeah, the people are cool and stuff. But especially in the winter, you're just on a boat alone.
Yeah. How many games? How many games do the Canadians do in that tournament?
I think there's 66 home games, so it's not as many as the majors. But they used to, like before COVID, they were short season, so they were just June, July, August. Now they're April to September.
Okay.
Yeah, but we've had a lot of rainouts this year, which is like a frustrating thing about baseball.
Yeah. Do those get rescheduled? Like they still get made up? Or
Yeah,
are they kind of not?
but they have limitations.
I can go watch it.
The world's number 3 and number 4 teams are about to face off here at the Canada Cup of Wheelchair Rugby in Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. And we're very glad to be able to bring this game to you here on CBC Sports and on the BC Wheelchair Sports YouTube channel. My name is Wilson Wong here with Adam Frost, and we have another exciting matchup after two great games in the first session, Canada and Australia. Canada beating Australia and then France beating USA. Now we have Japan versus Great Britain. Japan, the number 3 ranked team in the world, and Great Britain is number 4.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. If you're joining us from GB, and Ohio gozaimasu if you're joining us from Japan today. Looking forward to this game between these two teams. I understand they faced each other not too long ago at the Quad Nations, each team winning once.
And Japan will be wearing white jerseys with black lettering and numbers. Great Britain will be wearing navy blue jerseys with white numbering and trip. And on your screen, Japan will be going from your right to left, and Great Britain will be going the other way from left to right. Japan winning the opening tip. And going in for the score right away is one of their stars, number 7, Daisuke Ikazaki.
Yeah, quick goal by Japan. I expect to see a few quick strikes by them during this game.
Great Britain with their first touch of the ball. Jack Smith, wearing number 5, forced to call an early timeout. And some nice early momentum here for Japan.
Yeah, good defensive pressure. Getting the ball into the hands of one of the low pointers here for GB and force them to use their first timeout on their first possession. Probably not the ideal start, but better than a turnover.
Which are, that's the really big thing you want to avoid, I assume, here. In the last game, we had Canada and Australia, and a 5-point gap was almost too much to handle for a team to have a realistic expectation of coming back.
Yeah, these teams are all close enough that 5 tries, it's going to be a lot for anybody to come back from.
And indeed, there is the first turnover of the game. It's once again Japan's Ikazaki with the ball.
Yeah, tough start for GB here. They're going to have to find a way to break Japan's defensive pressure.
Ike back to Ikazaki. And he is in for another try, and it's an early 2-0 lead here for Japan. So once again, it's Jack Smith trying to inbound the ball, and he does so. Ball in the hands of Aaron Phipps, a high pointer, 3.5 for Great Britain. And he, in the middle of the fray there, along with Stuart Robinson, I believe, wearing number 3, and he...
Yeah, their chairs are locked up in an unusual manner. Oh, no, it came apart pretty easy.
There are about 4 players, kind of, as you saw in the replay, kind of in the vicinity of the ball, but the 2 of them locked up and forcing the stoppage in play.
Yeah, GB is, one of the keys to offense in wheelchair rugby is to try to spread your players out, make it harder for defenders to guard you. And on the first couple of possessions, GB's been a little bit close together, I think.
And there they convert on that offensive possession, so they're down 2-1. Japan now with the opportunity to respond. And the ball out to number 11, Kusaba, who scores for Japan.
Yeah, nice outlet play there by Kusaba, and good pass by Ikazaki to find him.
And also out there for Japan, we're number 23, Ogawa. Here it's Phipps for Great Britain. Jonathan Coggin, wearing number 2, is the 4th player on the floor for Team GB. Stuart Robinson with possession. Trying to find some open space there on this near side.
Penalty try for GB. Ogawa, the low pointer, must have had one of his wheels across the try line.
And Japan throwing the ball up the floor, and nice recovery there by Kusaba, the 1-pointer, and he will make it 4-2 for Japan,
Yeah.
maintaining their 2-point lead.
Yeah, nice job by him. Usually, primary role for the low point players is to pick for the high point players, but, you got to recognize when your high pointers aren't going anywhere and leak out to be an option, and he's done a great job of that a couple of times now.
Well, there was Phipps kind of saving a broken play there. The ball was loose near center, and he was able to tip the ball ahead and wheel onto it for the score.
Yeah, GB starting to settle down a little bit now, and scored a couple of tries in a row and starting to take advantage of one of their strengths, which is speed of their high point players.
Ikazaki trying to go on this left side and pinned right at the line, forcing a timeout call.
Yeah, Japan had to use their timeout there. Ikazaki wrapped around that corner and probably got a little bit closer to the try line than he wanted. There's not a lot of space there. Needed really to find himself a passing angle to get the ball to Ike, who was posted up and probably could have scored an easy try if they'd gotten the ball to him.
Japan will regroup here, 16 on the possession clock. Ikazaki, that time finding room and scoring in an easier situation.
Well, yeah, he's much more dangerous when there's some space, and he can use his agility, which is one of his strengths for sure.
Quick outlet lob for Team GB, and it will be Phipps again scoring to get his team within one. 5-4, Japan ahead. Thanks to a quick early start. Ikazaki. One bounce and then a pass over to Ike and in for the try. Team's kind of clogged up there in the backcourt, but Robinson will come away with it. 2-1-2. Now Phipps getting the pass. And eventually finding his way in for a try.
Yeah, got himself caught up on the front end of the low pointer there and made it a little bit harder on himself than he needed to.
Ike, a 3-point classification here for Japan. To Ikazaki. Going to his left, getting past his defender and in for another score.
Yeah, pretty easy for Ikazaki to beat that one-on-one matchup with the point mismatch that he has there.
Robinson out to the middle for Phipps. Phipps finding his way for a score. 4:43 to go in the first quarter. Japan 7, Great Britain 6 in the third game of the Canada Cup Wheelchair Rugby Tournament, and Ikazaki will once again get the try here for Japan to put his team back up by 2.
Yeah, nice job by Japan. They're running what we call a high screen. It's where Ike is down low by the inbounder with the post, and then a low pointer is working up high with high pointer up around center, and then they could get the ball in, make that deep pass, and Ikazaki is having a pretty easy time after he receives the ball.
Oh, another timeout, this time by Great Britain.
Second timeout by GB. Once again, good pressure by Japan and prior to the ball coming in.
You talked about the high screen. I think the fun part of watching this sport is seeing how the play develops and the work put in by the players who are not touching the ball, the players who are trying to create space. And sometimes it results in something that looks easy, but it's actually the result of a lot of hard work and preparation.
A lot of hard work, yeah. Play between the whistles to set these things up, the transitions in the game. And, you see that happening a lot as the play's going on.
So Flynn in for Great Britain, out to Robinson, who gets hit by Hashimoto. And Robinson through for the try. Pass into Ikazaki, an outlet for Hashimoto.
Yeah, this Hashimoto for Japan is in my opinion, probably the best young player in the world, and probably won't be too long before we're calling him the best player in the world. A few years, young and nothing but a bright future in front of him. Best high point in the world.
Right. Flynn for Great Britain over to Robinson, wearing number 3, and he's got 3 teammates on the other side of the court. Pass across into the in-goal area and then out of play, a turnover for Great Britain.
Yeah, a bit of an unforced error there by GB. I'm not quite sure who that pass was intended for, but certainly didn't find its mark.
Japan will now try to take advantage and increase its 2-point lead. Shimakawa. Pass at center. Hashimoto. Clear and through for another point. It's 10-7 now.
Yeah, nice job by those two. This was a very effective line at the last Canada Cup a couple of years back. These two were on the court together. Final moments when Japan was able to win the game in the last second of the fourth quarter.
Traffic near the middle of the court. Great Britain getting the ball past center. And then quickly down low, it's Coggin with possession. And hands off to Flynn. 10-7, Japan still in front. 10-8 with that last score. And a foul on Team GB.
Yeah, it's legal use of hands most likely there, as High Pointer was making his way around the pile.
So right now it looks like Great Britain is setting up more for the play after this score.
Yeah, so as we mentioned last game, when you have somebody in the penalty box, it's really tough to play aggressive defense, because if you take another penalty, that really hurts your team because somebody stays in the box. Japan was trapping the person in the box because it's GB's number 1 or their highest point player, and that's somebody you want inbounding, because when in that period of time while he's inbounding the ball, you have 8 points on the court for defense, and they only have 5.5, so that's a point mismatch for you, creating it small advantages where you can.
But Great Britain, despite that, able to convert on their possession and trail 11-9, and very quickly back down the floor. Shimakawa gets another try here for his team. 12-9, Japan in front.
Failed at my math. 4.5 points on the court. 3.5 and 4.5 is 8.
Big collision near us at the broadcast table on the floor. But Great Britain, again, unscathed, getting the ball up and in for another try, this time for Flynn. Hashimoto bringing up this Japanese team across center. Great Britain with 3 players in the key, but Japan able to score.
Yeah, that far corner from us opened up, and Hashimoto was able to find his way around.
Robinson getting out of trouble, and then over to Walker. Walker hit hard, but back to Robinson.
hard to see, but it looked like Walker may have been out of bounds there before he released that ball. But far side of the court from us.
Japan trying to restore its lead. Hashimoto in and cross, 14-11 for Japan.
Yeah, nice job by Hashimoto. He's getting on top and he's getting wheel position on his defender, Robinson. So when Shimakawa makes that pass, the only person who's going to get to that ball first is the player on offense.
Robinson running this offensive set here. And you hear the players counting down.
Yeah, well, GB's managing the clock here. They're trying to score to give themselves their best chance to score last goal of the quarter, which is why you hear the bench counting down the seconds on the clock for them.
Last try going to Walker. 1:04 left in the first period. Japan 14, Great Britain 12. Ball into play for Japan. Hashimoto. Speeding past most of the GB defense, and then now in to score against Robinson. 50.9 seconds left in the opening period, 15-12 for Japan.
Yeah, so quick goal there by Japan will force GB to score with about, or at least 10 seconds to go in the quarter, or force them to use another timeout if they want to try to run the clock right down to 0.
It's about a 10-second difference between the game and the possession clock. Robinson near the center court Canada Cup logo. Now triple teamed.
Yeah, it looks like GB's going to use a timeout here, so this will be their third timeout of the quarter. But that will give them the opportunity to score the last try here, make it a 2-try game. It is GB's ball to start the second quarter right now, so that could allow them to actually gain 2 tries and make this a 1-try game. So see if they're able to execute.
You're watching live coverage of the Canada Cup Wheelchair Rugby Tournament here at the Richmond Olympic Oval in British Columbia, Canada. We thank you for joining us here on this broadcast on CBC Sports and on the BC Wheelchair Sports YouTube. Ball back into play as it is underway again. 8 seconds to go. Robinson still with the ball, takes a dribble. Quickly over to his right. It's Walker in with 2.4 seconds to go. He scores what likely will be the last try of the period for Team GB.
Yeah, Japan probably just got a little bit over aggressive there on defense. You can't have 2 players out attacking the ball and 2 players in the key. You're just too divided, and that makes it too easy for offense to find holes in the key to score.
And the last gasp does not work for Japan. They turn the ball over, but they will take a 2-try lead into the break here over Great Britain, 15-13.
Yeah, good quarter for Team Japan, obviously. I'm sure they're happy with the 2-try lead. Some effective defense, particularly early in the game, sort of put GB behind the 8 ball, and maybe one unforced passing error by GB a little bit later in the quarter, but they did settle down as that quarter moved along and traded tries with Japan most of the way through the game, and or put themselves in a position here where if they score first try of this second quarter, we've got a 1-point game moving forward.
Yep, Japan scoring and then getting the turnover at the beginning of the game, and that helped them out to a 2-0 lead, and that's the difference so far. And for those of you keeping track of what's been going on at this tournament, just a reminder that Canada beat Australia in the first game on this court, and then France beat the USA in the opener on court 2. This is the only game happening during this session, Great Britain and Japan, and then we will wrap up the day with 2 more games, Canada versus the United States and France versus Australia. That's at 5 p.m. local time, Pacific time here in Richmond.
Yeah, France with a big win over the U.S. this morning. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to see that, given that we were on the other court. But I hear that France played a good game, and see how they do against Australia.
The Australians looking to rebound after their loss to Canada. And Team Japan looking to defend its Canada Cup title, last one in 2022. Canada finished second, and then Denmark, a team that's not here, finished third.
Yeah.
And then Great Britain was fourth. And in terms of the world rankings, Japan coming into this tournament ranked third, and GB in fourth. So, as you might expect, just a very competitive game. And they will all be considering the level of play and the rankings for each of the nations here. And Team GB is heading into the Paris Paralympic Games as the defending champion, having won in Tokyo.
Yep. That first time, I believe that was the first time a team from the European zone had won gold or a medal at the at any major championship. So that was nice for them to get that done with that zone. And with three strong teams representing Europe in Paris, strong potential that they can pick themselves up another medal.
Of course, France will have its home fan support, so that'll be a big deal for them.
Yeah, it'll be exciting for them to play at home. I've never experienced the Paralympics on home soil, just the World Championships, and I can tell you that the pressure of playing at home is a little bit more intense than you can expect. So I think they've got, I think France has a good shot at a medal. They're a great team, but I think they got their work cut out for them, because playing in front of your home fans, it's not something that we get to do very often in wheelchair rugby at those types of competitions.
Score 16-14 for Japan. Great Britain with the ball here early in the second period. And as we've said already many times in this game, Robinson scoring the try for Great Britain. And now Japan very quickly entering the ball back in play. Ikazaki finds some space in the middle of the court at the center court line and scores. And then the defense for Japan now setting things up, and they've got Flynn trapped kind of in center court at the center court line. Robinson to Flynn. Contact from behind, now back to Robinson. Trying to weave his way, and actually went into the path of his teammate Walker. Robinson regroups. 14 on the clock for Team GB, and really not to worry for Robinson as he scores.
Yeah, just took his time and waited for something to open up and was able to find a gap there eventually. Thought Japan had a good chance to create a turnover there before the ball came in. They had nice transition on the one player deep, and then a good double on Stewart between Daisuke and Ike, but they sort of lost track of him, and then Stewart got the ball and took advantage.
And very quickly, Japan answered with a try of their own.
Trouble for GB here.
Oh, and looks like it's a turnover indeed. The pass was behind Walker, and he just could not corral the ball. It's pretty hard leaning back with the ball right at your back.
Yeah, there was a tough passing lane for Robinson to make that pass. Wasn't a lot of space between the two players, so he really had no choice but to throw it at his back. And of course, given the nature of the abilities that these athletes have, you can't really turn your trunk and catch those balls. Yep. So you really need to make lead passes in wheelchair rugby, and and not and that's why creating space between and those passing lanes is so important.
Ikazaki scoring for Japan to increase his team's lead to 19-16. Ball at center, it's Robinson finding the lead player, Walker. And he crosses the goal line. 19-17 for Japan over Great Britain. Ikazaki. Around the right side perimeter. Now going left and then weaving back right and finding just enough room to score.
Yeah, he's very good at finding those little holes when he's got some speed like that. Great job to take advantage of what was not a lot of space, I thought.
Walker. Going to find a teammate. It's back to Robinson. And then in front for Kieran Flynn. Hasagawa and Smith were locked up at center as the ball was entered into play. Ike curling back towards center. Being defended by Robinson. Ikazaki down the middle of the basketball paint and scoring.
Yeah, better job of GB there, defending the high screen and forcing the receiver, Ike, to work his way up with the ball. But, once they got the ball over center, GB is still going to have to find a way to close that last part of the court off for them.
Robinson feeds Walker for another try for GB. Down by 2. Ikazaki on the left side. Curls around his teammate. Can't find any more room to move, and the pass over to Norimatsu. He can't control the ball, and Great Britain with a much needed turnover. It's a 2-on-1 down low, and it will be Stuart Robinson crossing the line for a try, and Team GB within 1 now, 21-20.
Yeah, that, in my opinion, second effective key defense we've seen by GB. I know they've only created 1 turnover. Seiya probably needed to pull himself a little bit closer to the cone before he attacked the try line, make a bit easier pass there. Daisuke to him, but obviously able to execute that time.
Japan back up by 2. Robinson catching that pass that was nearly knocked away. Flynn back to Robinson. That is a point for GB. Ikazaki in alone there, 23-21 now for Japan. Walker, cross to Flynn, gets hit by Ikazaki. Ball advanced up to Robinson. Going right, Ikazaki runs into him. Two of the stars in this game battling each other. Robinson on the right side. 13 on the clock. Lob pass inside. Flynn across to Walker, and he scores with 5 on the clock.
Yeah, nice job by GB, and good defense there by Japan on their try line to make it harder on GB than I think they would have liked.
Ikazaki. At center. Trying to build some momentum here as his teammates get set in their positions. Ikazaki. And looks like they'll have to stop the play there as Great Britain has a player who is down, and I believe that's Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson came out of his chair, and I think if Ikazaki had sort of kept trying to move forward, they probably would have just let him go and score the try, right. But because it seemed like he was stalling a little bit, called fallen player, safety issue, so Japan will get a new shot clock, which it's a bit of an advantage for them here. They can choose to kill some time and try and manage the end of quarter tactics if they want, or they can score quickly. It's up to them, of course.
They will have a set of new players on the floor.
Yeah, so 3-3-2.5 lineup for Japan here. A bit of a hybrid balance look for them. 2 high pointers and a class 2, as well as the female 0.5. Allows them to earn 8.5 points. Lineup that's been effective for them and helped them win world championships in 2018. Not these 4 players, but it's a very similar line.
That was Nakamachi, wearing number 14 for Japan, getting the try. GB needing to advance the ball over center, and they do, but it goes off of a Japanese player, Nakamachi, so unlucky for Japan not to get that turnover.
Yeah, a bit of a lucky bounce for GB there. If the Japanese player hadn't gotten in the way of that pass, it probably would have bounced exactly the same way off the GB player. It would have been Japan's ball, so.
Great Britain has 28 on the clock. Ball lobbed at center, and it will be a turnover as a violation on the inbound pass.
Yeah, so 10 seconds to get the ball in once the referee blows the whistle and starts the count. GB was a little bit too long there, so Japan will have an opportunity to take another try lead here as we work our way towards the end of the first half. It is Japan's ball right now to start the third quarter, so that does give them the potential to actually take a 2-try lead at the beginning of the third quarter if we're able to execute their last try plays.
Shimakawa, 16 on the clock, runs into a double team. Nakamachi, and he's hit hard, but it will be another infraction on Great Britain.
Yeah, so first of all, Shimakawa sort of attacking an area of the court where there wasn't any room and got himself into trouble, and GB was almost able to create a turnover there. And then unfortunately, the player from GB did take a foul with 43 seconds to go in the quarter, which means that he will be in the penalty box right to the end of this quarter, which makes it hard for GB to play defense because you can't afford to take another penalty at this point, which almost guarantees Japan the last try of the quarter plus the first try of the next quarter. And so we could see should see a 2-try swing.
Five on the clock. And Shimakawa through just as the horn expires on that possession. Great Britain has 3.1 seconds to score, and it's not likely they will be able to get much off here, and they will go into the break down by a score of 25-22.
Yeah, certainly better to play it safe there. No need to take any high-risk plays. Still a whole half of this game to go. You're only down by 3 at this point. No sense in making it worse, and giving Japan the potential to make it a 3-try swing heading into the third quarter.
So we're going to take a short break here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. We'll be back in about 8 minutes' time here in this game between Japan and Great Britain. The score at the half is 25 for Japan and 22 for Great Britain. Welcome back to the Richmond Oval and live coverage of the Canada Cup Wheelchair Rugby Tournament. Wilson Wong here with Adam Frost. And Adam, we joked about it just before we came on the air. We had a minute to go on the clock and the teams were already jostling for position on the court.
Yeah, they're certainly eager to get going in this third quarter here. So if they're eager, we're eager.
I think they actually changed it from a minute. I think they're starting a bit early, which is what the players want, I think. Is Japan will get things started with possession on offense. And very quickly the Japanese score with Ike. And Adam, you are a former national team coach for Japan. And what have you seen in the last little while in terms of the development of their pool and their players? Yeah,
so I mean, I started coaching the team 2013 after fourth place finish by them at London 2012. And, Japan at the time had, very strong high pointers. And certainly the development of this team since then is sort of a more balanced approach. Their low pointers have improved tremendously over the last 10 years under the tutelage of some of the coaches that have coached them. And now, my opinion, if you look at Japan top to bottom, all 12 players, I think they're maybe the deepest team here.
And they lead by 4, 27-23. Great Britain with possession. It's Tyler Walker, a three-point player, with a long pass, but it's intercepted by Ikazaki.
Yeah, this is my first time getting to see Walker play, so I'm excited to see how he does. New player to me, at least for GB, so obviously a bit of a rough start for him, but maybe a little bit of nerves, and see if he settles down and performs a bit better.
It's Ikazaki getting the turnover and then scoring there. Walker's shown off his speed a little bit here.
Yeah, a bit of a strong push for sure. Looks like GB's trying to run the same play that Japan is, where they're using Walker's height and running that low screen and see if they can move the ball up to Stuart Robertson rather than push it out. But once again, maybe just a bit of inexperience by this new player for GB.
Listed in the program as a three-point player, but he's actually got a 3.5 sign on his chair, which makes sense because Great Britain also has two half-point players out, along with Stuart Robinson.
Okay.
That time I can do the math.
Yeah, listed as a 3 in the... clearly says 3-5 on the back there, so must have had a change in classification this weekend.
And that's done before the day.
Yeah, a day or two before the tournament starts. There is a classification process for each of the teams. And, of course, the classifiers will be watching him play and making adjustments if needed as the tournament progresses.
Once again, middle of the play there. Walker now down to Robinson. Great Britain within 4 points, 29-25. Pass for Ikazaki. Chased down by Robinson, but still able to get the try. 30-25 lead for his team. Coggin for Great Britain. It's intercepted by Japan. Will be a try for the Japanese.
I think that was Waka Hidefume who scored that try and intercepted that pass. New father, so congratulations to him.
A batted ball up to Robinson, nicely executed by Britain.
So GB is going to use a 60-second coach timeout here. Talk over what they're seeing out there from new player.
Score is 32-25 on the scoreboard, but I thought they gave Japan the point after Britain scored, but we will, I'm sure that we'll get that figured out.
Well, it looks like GB noticed the same thing, although I certainly didn't. So I think the referee is checking the score sheet right now. 32-26.
31-26.
31 timeout. However, Team Japan didn't take it or go to their bench, so actually not privy to what happened there, given our situation on the court, but play does continue.
Ikazaki, along with Haga and Kurahashi on the floor for Japan, as well as Ike. Great Britain trying to rally its defense. Ikazaki, pass out of bounds. So turnover there for Japan.
Yeah, well, the play was there. There was a nice seal by Kai, and Masa had gotten behind her. Just Ikazaki unable to execute with his pass over to that corner. That's 3 turnovers we've seen by Japan now the last few minutes. Perhaps some of their intensity has worn off with the cushion that they've managed to establish over the last few minutes of this game, and they're going to have to find a way to refine their focus. They're going to hang on to their lead.
Great Britain forced to call a timeout. That was Coggin, who will now be spelled off by Jack Smith.
So it does show 0 timeouts now on the score clock for GB, so no more for them.
Ball batted into play. It's Walker. Flynn. Up the sideline, Flynn back towards center. Flynn scoring the try there against Japan, as the defense for Great Britain tried to pin Ikazaki deep.
Yeah, nice job by Flynn there to beat that one-on-one against Ikazaki in the corner. There wasn't a lot of space. Able to traverse his chair over the try line, and another turnover by Japan.
And it's going to be Robinson who scores off the pass from Flynn. And very quickly, Great Britain is within 2, 35-33.
Yeah, definitely focus issue here from number 7, Ikazaki. It's his second errant pass in a row he's made with not a lot of pressure on him.
See if Japan can regroup. They score on that possession. It's Ike, the number 21 player on Team Japan. Robinson gets past Ikazaki. Another collision between the two of them.
Yeah,
Robinson still in possession.
Nice moving screen there by Flynn to help Robinson get the ball over half.
And there he sets another one. 17 on the possession clock. Under a minute to go in the third period. Robinson for Great Britain across. Walker getting the try.
So see if GB can force Japan to score with less than 40 seconds to go to give them the opportunity to score last try. GB does start the quarter with the ball. Japan, with having 3 timeouts left in the quarter, look like they're going to stall here and see if they can run the clock right down so they can have the last try this quarter.
19 left in the possession. About an 11-second difference between the possession clock and the game clock. And Japan calling a timeout. It's Ike with the call there. That will allow the Japanese bench to make a couple of subs. Will be Norimatsu and Hashimoto in. And Ikazaki, one of the players coming off. 11 seconds left in the period. Nice grab down low inside by Ike, but he can't find any room to move, and finally is able to score. And there's just 1.8 seconds left for Great Britain. They can't do very much with the ball. And the period will end 37-34 in favor of Japan.
Yeah, a tale of two teams really there in that quarter. Japan dominating the first portion and giving themselves a bit of a cushion, and then GB coming back and being the better team in the second part of that quarter and making this a closer game. And if GB is able to score first try of here this fourth quarter, it'll be a 2-try game with 8 minutes to go, and see what happens.
And there are no timeouts left for Great Britain, and Japan has 2. You're watching live coverage of the Canada Cup Wheelchair Rugby Tournament from Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. We welcome those of you tuning in and joining us here from Great Britain and Japan and everywhere else across the globe here. If you are listening and watching locally, we encourage you to make plans to come out today or at any point over the next few days and watch wheelchair rugby in person. As great as it is on the webcast, I think there's so much more that you can experience in person watching a game like this.
Well, it certainly would be great if we could get a big crowd here to back the home team against their rivals this afternoon.
That's at 5 p.m. local time, Canada versus the United States. As well, we have another game coming up on the other court, France and Australia. So every game in this tournament is going to be competitive with great matchups featuring teams that are at the very top of the rankings in the world and teams you will see at the Paris Paralympics later on this summer.
Yeah, it should be exciting for everyone. Certainly enjoy this seat more than the other one. Way less stress when you're sitting where we are. Don't have to worry about wins and losses.
Yep, but you still get to enjoy the sounds of the chairs crashing, the tires hissing when they go out of air. To our left here on the sideline, Great Britain getting ready to send their 4 players out on the court.
Yeah, both teams aren't ready to go a minute early this time, using their full rest, almost their full rest.
So on the court for Great Britain, you have Coggin, Robinson, Flynn, and Walker. On the floor for Japan, you have Ike, Hashimoto, Ogawa, and number 2, Hasegawa. And we are about set for the final period of play in regulation. Japan leading 37-34. Great Britain will get the opening possession offensively here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. These are the last 2 teams to be in action of the 6-team field.
Yeah, I think there's one day during the tournament where teams only play 1 game. So that will be except for the last day. So that's GB and Japan today. So they must be playing 2 tomorrow, 2 on Friday. And unfortunate misexecution there by GB to make this a 2-try game.
And you talked about the opportunity for Great Britain, and unfortunately for them, they weren't able to take advantage to open this quarter with the ball. And in fact, I don't think Ike even realized that the ball was coming his way, but he was able to quickly find the ball and score. Walker handing off to Robinson. Firing his pass across to Walker, and we've heard that combination a few times today.
Yeah, Gavin Walker, a veteran of this GB team, longtime captain.
Ike holding the ball over his head, firing to Hashimoto, and then out into the open, Ogawa. Getting the try for Japan and making it a 4-try lead, 39-35. Yes! Great Britain looking to answer. Walker. And looks like the defender for Japan, Hashimoto, had his wheel over the line.
Yeah, nice recovery by Hashimoto to be able to track down Walker, who was wide open deep here, but ultimately unable to slow down his momentum and was the first across the try line.
Three-point gap between these two teams. Japan ahead of Great Britain. Hashimoto around on the right side and able to score. Flynn for Great Britain. Lead pass for Robinson, building momentum and finding his way across the try line.
Yeah, nice pace by both athletes there.
Hashimoto in for the try. It's a 41-37 score in favor of his team. Walker. Walker on the right side. Nice job there by Ike to defend, but the ball is worked over to Robinson. .14 left in the possession. Robinson going left, and again finding Walker with that pass, and Walker recording another try. And Japan nearly turning the ball over. Flynn getting his hands on the ball, but unlucky for him, he was the last person to touch it.
Yeah, so it will remain Japan's possession. Ike obviously waiting there for one of his players to get open deep, and GB able to knock the ball out of bounds before that happened.
Ike trying to break out of the jam that he has been put into.
GB almost able to take advantage of that automatic transition against Ike. It's much harder to inbound the ball on the sidelines than it is on the end line. When you're inbounding the ball after a try, you can move. But when the ball is being inbounded on the sidelines, you have to stay still, which makes it puts more onus on your teammates on the court to get to within your range, because you can't move to get to where they are.
So 42-38 lead for Japan. 4:53 to go in the period. Robinson across center. Robinson runs into a defender, but able to catch Walker with the pass. (42-39) Japan in front. The Japanese visitors will have the ball here. Pass across, and it's called out of bounds. So turnover again against Japan.
Yeah, well, we saw a similar error by this team last quarter with Daisuke out there. You know, Ike was in good position in the corner. He had a player in front of him to screen for him, and you know, Hashimoto was just not able to make an accurate pass and to find him. So see if Japan can clean those up, and a missed pass there obviously gives the ball right back to Japan.
Oh, another turnover as the pass, I'd say, was a little bit off the mark. EK just couldn't catch it with one hand.
Yeah, same position, just other corner. Better pass this time by Hashimoto. It looked like it was catchable, but for whatever reason, just bounced the wrong way off his hand and off his wheel. And 3 turnovers back to back to back. See if we can score a try this possession. Looking positive so far.
Robinson takes a couple of hits. Back towards center. Robinson scores, and I think praise should go to Smith, helping create some space for his teammate. Japan moving the ball very quickly down the floor, and it's going to be Walker trying to cause some havoc defensively, but the Japanese retain possession. Ball was in the hands of Ogawa for Japan. And now Hashimoto with control. Seven left in the possession, 5-4, and Japan will be forced to call a timeout.
Yeah, strong try-line defense there by GB, taking away the opportunity that Hashimoto had to push the ball in, force Japan to use that timeout, which leaves them one on-court 30-second timeout left to use, should they choose to.
Yeah, it's kind of like karate. You just have to keep an eye on it.
Japan will get ready to inbound. Great Britain with 3 defenders in the key. Hashimoto on the right side, scoring for Japan.
Yeah, nice sale by the low pointer there, Kai, to allow Hashimoto to get around and score between her and the cone.
Walker for Great Britain. Showing off some great power and speed as he finds his way into the scoring area.
Yeah, nice job by him. Got by Shimakawa there pretty easily, and Shimakawa is no slouch when it comes to speed.
Great Britain hanging around, down by 2. 2:44 left in the fourth quarter. Quick headman pass for Hashimoto, and he's able to get the try on the board, 44-41. Smith putting the ball into play for Walker. See what Walker can do on this possession. Oh, has the ball knocked away, and it will go out of bounds. Possession staying with Great Britain.
Yeah, nice hands by Shimakawa there to knock the ball off the lap of the GB high pointer, but GB will retain possession. Lots of time to go on the try clock, 30 seconds.
Once again, ball in the hands of Walker, wearing number 1 for Great Britain. Now over to Robinson. So both players listed as 3.5-point players. Robinson building momentum, crossing with Walker. Just gets enough room to score. Puts his team within 2 again, 44-42. And Japan forced to call its last timeout.
Yeah, so nice defense there by GB. It looked like they were playing a double-double where you've got two high pointers out there. So you've got 2 defenders on one, 2 defenders on the other. You're going to give anything to the offense, you'll allow them to run the give and go between the 2 low pointers. So unable to get the ball in. Japan's making adjustments.
So the Japanese subs are now set. They've entered the ball back into